tell us a little bit about, when you hear Kim and Penelope's story of early diagnosis, what are the first things that you think about as being an expert in behavioral health?
Well, first I want to tell you, kudos to you, because a lot
Thank
of
you.
parents, they see that and they look past it. It's important to catch them very early on in the early stages and have them tested, have them diagnosed. That diagnosis is the key to the treatment, the therapy, the ABA therapy, the occupational therapy, the speech therapy, all the things that they need. And so for me, the center that I'm getting ready to open in Charlotte, it is designed just for neurodivergent children. We will offer ABA, speech, and occupational therapy all in one center. We're also going to offer a mental health component for the parents to make sure that they have someone to talk to so they can have the help that they need. And it's very important because the earlier you get the children the help they need, the better they are when they go off to kindergarten. They can succeed. They'll be really good, very successful. And it helps them to navigate their own condition the older that they get. Because a lot of times those kids, they all have anxiety. They have a level of depression when they get older, when they start to notice that they're not the same as their peers. And so it's important that you got a hold of that now. So you should pat yourself on the back. Kudos to you. That's a big deal. But yeah, a lot of times we see in our communities that they're underdiagnosed, they're misdiagnosed, they're getting diagnosed way too late. On average, Black and Latina kids actually get diagnosed 1 to 2 years later than their white peers. And so that puts them behind the curve and they're getting the treatment a little bit too late. So to start that now, it's a big deal. So I know you said that you're not doing the ABA, but when you can get in there, because I know a lot of times ABA, there's a long wait list. There's a long wait list. There's changes in legislation that are impacting that wait list as well. If you're a Medicaid recipient, that makes a difference. All the things are changing. So it's important to, even if you call around and find maybe a center may do in-home therapy, they may come to, if she's in daycare, they may come to the daycare 1 day a week to start the therapy. So definitely look at those options too.
Yeah, that's the next thing we're going to do is have someone come to the house. And she's also going to go to a place here in Miami called Fiddlers where they do evaluations and see what's the best for her.
And for people that are at home that don't know a lot about autism or even the word neurodivergent, I think it would be so powerful for folks to hear, like, what is ABA therapy? What is occupational therapy? I mean, it sounds like buzzwords. We're hearing about so much about autism in the media and the mainstream media, and it feels like something that people have attached themselves to, but the numbers are strong. 1 out of 31 children or 1 out of 54 children in America are diagnosed?
It's actually CDC, 1 out of 36 children are diagnosed. So to put that in perspective, 36 kids in the classroom, at least one of them is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Wow. 720 kids in the school, 20 of them are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And those numbers
are exponentially greater than they were when we were in elementary school in the 80s.
They've grown a lot. And the reason that they are growing is because there's awareness around it. So people are starting to get help. They're starting to go and, like you notice, the eye contact. My nephew is maybe a year younger. He'll be 2 in November. So a year younger than your granddaughter. And that was one of the first things my sister noticed is that he wasn't making eye contact. And she took him to the pediatrician and they did a little assessment. And she was like, you know, you might be right. And so she sent him to the specialist. So the speech therapy, a lot of the kids, maybe they're nonverbal or they're verbal. They're not saying their words. There's a slight delay. The speech therapy helps them to learn how to do that. And then the OT, which is the occupational therapy, their gross motor skills. For instance, if they're playing like with the train on a track, a lot of the kids can't put the train on the track. And so the more that they go to the therapy, they learn to do that. And eventually they can put the train on the track or the car on the track and it'll just roll. So that's what that's for. And then the ABA is applied behavior analysis. And that teaches the children to self-regulate. It teaches the parents to help the child to self-regulate because some of them, they get upset or some of them, I can't even begin to explain. Some of them have tantrums. They get frustrated.
Because if you can't communicate, that must be extremely frustrating for a child.
It's frustrating for them. And so the ABA helps them to teach to regulate that. What do they do? And I think in some states, if they're under the age of 5 years old, they qualify for up to 40 hours a week.
Wow.
And so the numbers show that when they start that ABA therapy, when they do go off to kindergarten, they are in regular classroom settings with regular kids and they function just like the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's my dream for her.
To find a new normal.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're all unique. We all learn differently. I know that there's this idea of neurodivergent is that there's a normal and then there's a non-normal, but the truth is each and every one of us has a different way of learning. And so Dr. Pyke, this is Dr. O'Neill Pyke, my dear friend. I mean, I am so incredibly grateful. You literally run Jackson Health Group. You are an absolute expert in the field, and you're welcome to tell your accolades. You've got a lot of letters behind your name, and you've written a new book, and I'd love for everyone to know about your book, but more importantly, to know about your theory. This is your book, Informed and Engaged, Our Journey to Better by Dr. O'Neill Pyke. And I think we can all desire and aspire to be doing better, but God Almighty, our healthcare system needs an aspiration to better. Can you weigh in a little bit about what you've seen over the last couple of years in healthcare, and what are some of the missing pieces so that we can try to support families like Kim's?
So first of all, I think Penelope has exactly what she needs in the support from you and her mom and everybody
My entire
else.
family.
Absolutely. And I think that is probably going to be the biggest thing where she can actually tap into the resources that are needed to get her to her best potential, to fulfill that potential. The healthcare system, I think one of the things that you touched on that is really profound is that the numbers aren't really going up. The awareness has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So conversations like these have actually really helped parents to kind of step out of that shadow of being a little bit ashamed of what's going on, and actually get their children the help they need, and realize that when that happens early on, they can literally achieve their potential very differently than a child that does not tap into that. And so what you're doing now for Penelope is amazing, because you're literally charting the course in a way that allows her to fulfill that potential.
Yeah.
And so the healthcare infrastructure has really come a long way. Pediatricians are much more aware. I'm an internal medicine. I stay away from children, but I know enough to understand that early diagnosis, early recognition of almost anything in healthcare is going to be the North Star.
Right.
Once you find it out, and this is you recognizing it, your mom recognizing it, getting Penelope the care that she needed, this is exactly what we need to actually advocate for 100%.
Oh, yeah.